Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, give us all the info.
Well, I was born and raised in Flemington, so it's about 25 minutes from here. I started cooking at 15. Kind of jumped right into it and really enjoyed it. It was something I was naturally good at, so really enjoyed it, because who doesn't like being good at something at 15? And then I got a job in the local restaurant down there called Matt's Red Rooster Grill.
Okay.
And worked my way up in there. Started doing salads and desserts, like plating all that stuff, and then cooking actual vegetables, and we call that like an entremet.
Okay.
That's the technical term. All the sides for all your dishes.
Okay.
And then I learned how to cook meat on it was a wood grill there.
Okay.
So I learned how to cook steaks and fish and all that. Throughout high school, they had a vocational school program.
Okay.
So it kind of got me out of high school, because I was not a student by any means. Did not enjoy school, but I could get out and cook
Yeah.
and learn about the industry that I'm in today. So I graduated from there, and then I went on to the Culinary Institute of America in
Nice.
Hyde Park, New York. That was a interesting 2 years. It was a little bit from hell. I did not enjoy culinary school. It was like
Okay.
military school
Okay.
without like the push-ups and exercise, but it was very, very intense.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do they do that?
Build you up into a leader. They push you down to build you up.
Okay.
And it was build thick skin, I guess. From what I hear, it's not as intense as it used to be.
Okay.
They've calmed down because it was insane. Just the way they spoke to you, it was just like, oh my God.
Were they trying to like simulate like a potential real world experience?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Because you go into Michelin star kitchens and it's not a great environment, but it's unfortunately it's how you get to the top. It's just one of those things. That's a lot of trades. It's just how you act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to get an internship halfway through CIA. So we were there for 7 months, and then you left on externship, they called it,
Okay.
for 7 months, and then you came back for another 7 months, and you graduate.
Okay.
So I interned at 90 Acres in Bedminster.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's an amazing restaurant.
Yeah, it was the real deal. Amazing restaurant. It's where I really learned how to cook.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about seasonality there. Basically like farm fresh flavors.
Yeah.
Farm to table movement was around that time in 2011-ish.
Okay.
Farm to table was really big.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great experience. It was such a good experience, I actually really never left. So go back to CIA for 7 months for the second half, and I'd come home on the weekends and I'd work at the restaurant.
Nice.
90
Okay.
Acres. So, I needed money for whatever, a couple bucks for your beer and cigarettes for culinary school. And then I graduated, and then I went back full-time at 90 Acres.
Okay.
And I didn't leave for another 3 years.
Okay.
Okay.
So I stayed there for 4 years, worked my way all the way up to pretty much sous chef.
Okay.
Right after I left, I would have been promoted to sous chef. But honestly, leaving was the best thing I could have done, or else I would have been stuck there.
Okay.
I had to go and learn from other people and learn, different cuisine-ish stuff. So that took me to Princeton.
Okay.
My first sous chef job at 23 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
The Peacock Inn. So
Okay.
the Peacock Inn was a boutique hotel. I think it had like maybe 10 rooms. It wasn't a big hotel by any means, but it was like where some very wealthy people stayed.
Okay.
So we actually had Jeff Bezos stay there a few times.
Wow.
So I cooked for Jeff
Hey.
Bezos back in the day because Jeff Bezos went to Princeton.
Okay.
So inevitably his son went to Princeton.
Right. Okay.
So his son was a few years younger than me.
Okay.
He was at Princeton and Jeff came to stay at the
Wow.
hotel. It was kind of cool, like, because we'd go outside and it would just be like a security guard there, a security guard there, and then on the other side, and then probably one you couldn't even see on top of a roof. Like, yeah, it was insane.
Do you know, like, going into work that day that's like who you're cooking for, or
Oh,
is
yeah,
it,
yeah,
like
we all-
is
yeah.
it just like prepped, like you guys are all like?
No, he was a simple man. He didn't.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't expect special treatment.
Okay.
He didn't want to be treated by like differently. Actually, very nice, humble man. It's shocking. Somebody of that caliber. It was like normal guy.
Yeah.
And like not many people noticed it was him, but he was like sitting at the bar, and I remember some lady like walked up and like snapped a selfie like next to him, and he was kind of like taken back a little bit. Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, it was a good few years. I worked there for about 2 years.
Okay.
Worked under an amazing man who's still a part of my life today, in and out of the kitchen. And that was abrupt. That came to an abrupt stop. The hotel was sold.
Okay.
So we were all let go.
Okay.
But that started my new venture. So towards the end of my time at Peacock Inn, I was slowly trying to transition into a more casual environment.
Okay.
I loved fine dining. It was awesome, but I wanted to cook more realistic food,
Okay.
like more approachable for people.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who I knew from the industry who worked for the same people as I did. So my chefs at 90 Acres used to be the chefs at Pluckaman Inn.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So there was this guy that worked at Pluckaman Inn for these guys. He went off and did his own thing. He opened Uproot in Warren,
Okay.
and then he had Inc. in New Brunswick.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I loved these restaurants.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like what I want to do. Like the
Yeah.
food was amazing to me.
Yeah.
It was just well executed business. It was just perfect for me. So I actually got in touch with him, who's my partner now.
Nice.
Nice.
To this day. His name is Mark Farrow. So Mark owned those two restaurants. I was going to go into Uproot probably 6 months prior. I had an opportunity to go and be one of the chefs there. And I turned it down because it just wasn't the right time, wasn't the right move. I was getting married, a lot going on in life that I was like, I can't make this jump. I have to be comfortable in order to do everything else. So I stayed at Peacock Inn.
Okay.
And then through the grapevine, I heard that he was opening a new restaurant where we're sitting today. So my sister, ironically, my sister's ex-husband, one of his closest friends, happened to be very close friends, childhood friends with Mark. So I heard about the restaurant before everybody else. So I had emailed Mark. We got in touch. I was hired as the sous chef here. So after I got laid off from Peacock Inn, I needed some time before I went to Uproot because they couldn't take me right away.
Okay.
So I ended up in Summit,
Okay.
at Summit House,
Okay.
when it first opened. Now, my chef de cuisine from 90 Acres left 90 Acres and opened Summit House. So he gave me some work for a few months. Had a blast there. It was a beautiful restaurant. just great people. Really enjoyed it. And then I went off to Uproot, and we thought we were going to open in, 2-3 months. It ended up being like a whole year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I was waiting for a whole year to open here.
Is that common?
Yeah. Too common, actually.
Why is that?
Because things always go wrong. You're waiting on permits. You're waiting on this and that. It's contractors, everything. So it all takes time. Significant amount of time. So we ended up opening up. Opening was good. It was a good environment. Everybody was very happy. We had a good time. It was intense, but we got slowly into a rhythm. Within 4 months, maybe not even, I became the executive chef here.
Wow.
Because Mark and then the previous executive chef, Renner, ended up going back to Uproot.
Okay.
To run Uproot, so they kept me in charge here.
Okay.
I had a sous chef at the time who's my head chef now.
Okay.
She's been with me since day one. And then my other guy is my sous chef who was with me in Princeton. And he came with me here. So he followed me. I've been with him for 8 years, a long time. Because we just passed our 6th year.
Wow.
Okay.
Back in
Wow.
November. So
That's great.
6.5 years. Ran it as the executive chef for a while. COVID hit, messed everything up. Mark ended up selling Uproot.
Okay.
So he does no longer own Uproot, and he doesn't have Inc. anymore. So Inc. doesn't exist anymore. So he only has this restaurant. And he gave me the opportunity to be his partner.
Oh, cool.
I obviously took it because
Yeah.
this place was my life. I always wanted to own my own restaurant.
Yeah.
Not fully, though. I don't want to own it by myself. I like having a partner. He's a huge mentor in my life, has taught me a great deal of knowledge of how to run a restaurant. And so here we are today, me and him.
How important is mentorship, in your field?
It's the most important thing ever.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't train the people under you, nothing will run correctly because you can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's also, these people are the future of the business. I was trained at a young age to become the future of restaurants.
Yeah.
So when you have a young kid working in your restaurant, you want to put your whole life into them.
Yeah.
So they can blossom into future executive chefs, owners, whatever they want to become.
Yeah.
So very important.
Did you have a lot of influence at a young age with food? Were you around a lot of people cooking, or do you have anyone in your life that was yeah, that's why I am the way that I am today?
Yeah, my grandmother, I cooked with her a lot. My aunts cook and my uncle cooks. My mom cooks, but not like I did with my grandmother. That was really important to me.
What kind of food do you guys make?
My grandmother's Greek.
Okay.
So Greek food growing up.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, so that and that's heavily influenced my career. I love Greek food, even though I cook Latin food. But you might see some Mediterranean twist in here because of my upbringing.
Yeah. How do you go about curating the menu? Is it kind of a free for all where you can kind of do what you want, or do you kind of
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all whatever sparks my head at the time. I run specials every week, so I get to create every week, which is important because you got to keep your brain going, or else you'll become stagnant, and then you'll see it within the restaurant. Everything kind of just becomes stagnant. If I'm not moving, then nobody's going to be moving.
Yeah.
How do the specials work? Is it just for the sake of having something new, or are you trying to see if something like sick enough to put it on the menu for good?
Both.
Yeah.
That's a good question, because if you would make like a special and it hits, like everybody's ordering it, everybody's raving about it, you better put it on the menu.
Yeah. I feel like every time like a waiter or waitress comes over and they read the specials, I can't focus on all the dishes and what's being read, but like a lot of times there's going to be one thing in there that like catches my brain. Even if there's like 5 dishes read off, there's always one thing that's like, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's why specials are so important in my eyes, because it's like, that's the real creativity behind it. Like, you can make a menu and some dishes aren't necessarily for like me. Like, I might make something and be like, yeah, people will like this. I hate it, but people might like it.
Yeah.
Specials, those are for me. So that's where all the skill and heart comes out, is in those specials. Yeah.
And what goes into like developing the menu and the specials, like, are you always like trying new things in the back of the kitchen? Is it like your staff giving ideas and stuff
All
like
the
that?
above.
Everything. Yeah.
It's a huge team effort. You don't do it by yourself ever. When you start doing things by yourself, it becomes overthought. It becomes not natural. It's not good.
Yeah.
Like, team effort is really what keeps restaurants going. Like, if you don't have a team, it's not going to run.
How does ego come into play in the kitchen?
Oh, huge. I do not have an ego. I worked for some people had egos, some people didn't. So I learned right off the bat that an ego does not take you anywhere. You have a big ego, nobody respects you. Nobody will work for you. Nobody will listen to you. All the above. If you're just a normal person, just good, humble, nice person, people will stay.
Yeah. How are you cultivating your team? What do you look for when you're hiring someone, or just day to day? Like, how are you, creating that environment?
Ironically, I hire people with no experience. So I build you up from the ground to where you're at today.
Yeah.
Most of my staff has been with me for years. Like 5+ years. They are completely loyal to me, do anything for me, and vice versa. You need something done, I'm on it. In and outside the restaurant.
Yeah.
I will help you. So it's, it's bitten me in the ass before, I'm not going to lie, but I will do anything for those guys. They do anything for me, so I do anything for them.
Yeah.
That's how it works. It's really how you keep people.
Yeah.
You got to care for them.
Yeah.
Because if you're happy and you're cared for, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like me here. I was happy, or I was cared for and treated well. Why would I leave?
Yeah.
Right.
Now I can't leave because it's legally, but I don't want to. I love this place. So.
How do you draw that balance with like being a leader in the kitchen? Like, how do you draw the balance between being the boss that people like being around, and also like, I don't know how to say it, but like kind of laying the law down when you need to, put things in order? Like, because I guess this can be applicable really not necessarily just to the kitchen, but to any business where people have employees or they have contractors and they want the people to enjoy working there, but they also want them to understand that there's some structure, there are rules and stuff like that.
It's very difficult. Nobody likes being the bad guy. But I find if I'm genuine, everybody does the right thing. I don't have too many problems with people not doing the right thing, because there's a lot of respect for the place. People treat it like it's their own, so there's a lot of respect. You see a problem, you just nip it immediately, calmly, not too casually though, so the message gets across. But it's difficult. It's definitely the harder part of the job. Nobody wants to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
I'm so curious, for, I guess, the younger generation of of chefs coming out of school, is it kind of like their goal to work at a high-end restaurant or a Michelin star restaurant? Is that like super glamorized? Like looking back, like was that like just part of everyone's journey, or do you feel like, you know, there's a lot of beauty in working for, you know, a restaurant that is more palatable to the average person?
That's a good question. To be honest, culinary school is, in my opinion, it's not the best route to take.
Okay.
Cooking in restaurants is the route to take because it's where you really learn. I would say 80% of the people I graduated with are not in restaurants anymore.
Really?
Yeah, maybe not even in food.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. The amount of people that drop out of culinary school because they realize what it is and they're like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Wow.
And the people that graduate, you know, it's tough hours. It's tough pay for a long time. You know, you don't make a lot of money in kitchens. Or they switch to front of the house because it's more of a faster income.
Okay.
But longevity, like working as a line cook, I made minimum wage for years.
Wow.
Until I was able to make a salary. And that salary was not good. It's hard to live off of. But you don't do it for money. You do it because it's what you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I graduated with people that are still in the business. I graduated with one guy who's, I think he's the head chef at Noma, which is the best restaurant in the world.
Wow.
I saw him on Instagram and I was like, oh, whoa, I graduated with that guy. Like, what the heck? I forget his name, but insanely talented.
Wow.
I worked for people, or I graduated with people that are in New York, worked with at 11 Madison, and are still chefs to this day. Or I have friends that became, you know, big wine people, sommeliers at big restaurants in the cities, like New York, Chicago, all those big cities. But I don't see many that are still in it.
Why is that? Is it just the stress?
Yeah, everything. It's just not for everybody. It's just not for everybody. Creating a work-life balance is big for me, which it took me a long, long time to create.
Yeah.
Because having a family, it's hard to be there for them when you're so involved in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still a battle. It's always going to be a battle.
Yeah. Because not only are you a chef, but you're also an owner of a restaurant. That comes with like so many responsibilities.
Everything falls on me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Even though I have a great staff, I have amazing managers here. I still have to take the blame for everything because that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay.
How do you kind of turn your brain off? Because I can imagine all day it's running, you know, and then like how do you just kind of separate, like, okay, like I'm done working, like I'm going home and I'm going to spend time with the family or I'm going to relax. Like, is that like really important to be able to kind of separate yourself?
I haven't learned that yet. Yeah. My brain's always going with this. It's just trying to live in the moment, and it's not the easiest thing, but
yeah,
I'm still learning.
So we have some rapid fire questions we want to ask you. We do this
Sure.
every episode. We didn't send them to you. They're just fun. Some are a little bit more serious.
Cool.
We just like to kind of pick your brain. So the first one is, if you can only eat one dish off of your menu for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
Oh, shit.
Or even if it's like a special that you ran one time here.
Oh, that's so hard.
Okay.
I want to say our brisket because I put a lot of love into that.
Ooh, okay.
But it's so tough. I'm I'm really big into Peruvian food.
Okay.
I love the flavors of it. So, I mean, anything Peruvian on our menu is what I gravitate towards.
Okay.
I would say, I guess if I had to eat something, it would be our chaufa. So
Okay.
chaufa translates to fried rice, pretty much.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, I might go with that. And I do brisket in that, so.
Very
Nice.
cool.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I used to be a night owl. Now I have a 1.5-year-old daughter, so I am now a early riser.
If you had to open another restaurant anywhere in the United States, where would you open it?
Down the street in Somerville.
Nice.
It would be easy to balance. Easier to balance. I could run from each place to place.
There's an awesome food scene here.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great places here.
Yeah, it's coming up, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
What's your top tip for the perfect guacamole?
Lime and salt. Yep, you can have guacamole without onion and jalapeno and cilantro, but you cannot have guacamole without lime and salt. So.
If you had an extra 2 hours during the day, what hobby would you pick up?
I've gotten into makes me sound like an old man, but yard work. I've taken appreciation for that. I started planting some things in my house, so I've kind of taken up that hobby. Really like it. Yeah.
Nice.
Some
Nice.
herbs and some tomatoes.
Oh,
See
cool.
how it goes this year. But
Do you have like a expansive garden or
no.
no?
One day I will. One day I will. Maybe next year.
How do you define success?
Definitely happiness. Everybody around me. This was asked the other day to me, actually. Customers, if they come in, are happy. Staff, if they're happy. My family, if they're happy. And myself, if I'm happy. That's success to me.
What's the best dessert to end a meal?
I'm always anything chocolate.
Nice.
I love chocolate.
What's your dream vacation destination?
Even though this is a heavily Latin influenced restaurant, I'd say Greece is my dream. I never got to go.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's been on my list forever. But yeah, I think I need to go. Yeah. Within the next few years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's been on our list for a while too.
Yeah.
Something I'll need.
One has to go cilantro or lime.
Cilantro.
I guess you answered that before.
Lime is so important.
Give us one long-term goal that you have for your business.
I want it to thrive where everybody is, thriving off of it. I want to create jobs for people. I want to create a life for myself. Everybody here. That's what I want.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah. We love to like end off kind of on any advice that you have or just anything that you've been through, anything that you've learned like through all of your years, just to leave to anyone listening that, either wants to open up a restaurant or they want to be a chef or just even in a different industry, like anything that you can, any advice that you can give.
Yeah, you have to give it your all. Your love, everything has to go into your business. Definitely, I would recommend separating business from family. It's very difficult to balance. I know I've struggled in the past and today separating separating work from life. You know, most people can, you know, leave the office and that's it, it's gone.
Yeah.
But this you can't turn off because you're always progressing. It's running all the time, pretty much. You know, 12 to, you know, 10 o'clock is my hours on the weekends.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're here at 8:30 and I got people in here.
Yeah.
You know, 1:30, my manager might still be here, so do the math. It's the restaurant is always running.
Yeah.
Something's always going on. Big advocate on mental health with restaurants. Mental health is extremely important in restaurants. Restaurants come with a lot of stress,
Yeah.
substance abuse, all that. I've struggled in my past, not to get deep or anything, but I come from substance abuse, which I'm sober today. But the alcoholism in restaurants is insane.
Wow.
You know, they joke about it, like about chefs being alcoholics. They're all alcoholics.
Yeah.
So something I've had to change my life to be where I am at today. Because you can't mix it.
Yeah.
You can't mix the party with the work.
Right.
Because it'll just end everything.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like there's so much that goes on behind the scenes with this industry that, like, the diners would never even would never even know.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, TV exists. Season 3 of The Bear's coming out, so, which is totally true.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
true. Everything in it's true.
Really?
Yeah.
We're watching it
I
right
was gonna
now.
say we just
That's pretty much
started
all we know
watching it.
about.
Yeah.
Is Season 3
Yeah.
come out yet?
The
On
27th.
27th. That's in like 2 days. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We're like
As
just
far
about to
as
finish.
like restaurant shows, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's insane. I feel the stress and anxiety when we're watching the show. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
it's great. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
yeah.
Are there other like shows that they've put on in the past about restaurants to try to like simulate what it's?
Nobody nails it like The Bear.
Yeah.
I might be biased because Jeremy Allen White, I love.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Like,
Awesome
one
show.
of my favorite shows ever.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might rewatch that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they nailed it. Yeah, it was just good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just could relate to a lot of it.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, sometimes some of it's like dramatized, like
Yeah.
but especially like the substance problems. Like the brother is alcoholic, problem with pills,
Yeah.
Yep.
and the way it affected the whole family
Yeah.
Right.
was like, whoa, that one hit a little too home to me.
Yeah.
And it kind of woke me up a little bit. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah. I had something and now it's gone. It just escaped me.
I guess are there any like misconceptions on that note? Like our kind of impression of things is like the TV show or whatever you see in movies. Like we never worked in a kitchen, so actually you worked in a pizza place, but it's a little different.
Yeah.
Pizza places are legit. Pizza places are legit. Yeah. If you can make a pizza, you can do anything. It's not easy. Not easy.
I guess, are there any like misconceptions you can think of that, you know, people that
Like
just
in my
eat?
mind, I'm like, it is so cool to own a restaurant. Like that is the coolest thing. I feel like, and it is, but like I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it that's not fun.
Yeah, you're a rock star. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. You know, you get all the credit, even though you don't do everything. I have to give credit to everybody else, not myself. But unfortunately, it's in the public's eye. It's like, oh, whoa, that's the guy.
Yeah.
So it's you're a rock star. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's the best job I could have chosen.
Is there anyone that like you look up to? Like, I had a phase where I was obsessed with Anthony Bourdain. Like, I just kind of like dug through like, you know, everything that he's done and all of his shows and his document. Like, is there anyone that you kind of look up to in this world? you know, famous or not.
Oh yeah, Anthony Bourdain. You can even throw Gordon Ramsay in there. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay became this television star, but he's the real deal. This man was working 20 hours a day when he was my age. I only know that because I read his biography. I think I've read like 3 books in my life, right? Full books. Gordon Ramsay's biography, Anthony Bourdain's first book, and then I read a book on a restaurateur in Chicago. Rick Tremonto, his name was.
Okay.
Don't know what chose me to read his book, but I read it at a young age. And it just told the real truth of restaurants. So it was awesome. Awesome. Really, really good stuff. But Anthony Bourdain he's the one who started a lot of the movement with food, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Really took it off. And an amazing writer.
Yeah.
Just one of the best writers ever, in my opinion. In his death, woke a lot of people up to like the truth of things.
Yeah.
That we're all people, and we all suffer from feelings.
Yeah.
So his death is really what I think kind of hopefully woke the industry up.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're either born with it or you're not? Like, it's either like you have it or you don't, like that skill, or do you feel like you can learn it?
100%. I think some people are born to be leaders and some people aren't, and there's nothing wrong with that because everybody's needed in a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Even just like the skill.
Skill?
Yeah. Like knowing what goes together.
Yeah, anybody can cook. Literally anybody can cook. That's a skill you learn. But flavors and all that, that's a real big art.
Yeah.
And artists are born with that. You know, whether you can draw or create food, you're born with that. It's not something you just learn. I can't draw.
Yeah.
If you tried to teach me how to draw, it wouldn't work. I can't draw. It's just, I have horrible handwriting. But I can build flavors in my head. It's all an art.
So is there anything that you want to promote or talk about, or anything that we didn't touch on? Anything going on with the restaurant that you want to let everyone know? Anything like that?
Not too much. I'm trying to progress forward with the menu. I'm trying to get more and more upscale but casual environment.
Yeah.
I love when you come into a casual restaurant. It's like I can walk in here with jeans and a t-shirt on and I'm getting a Michelin star plate in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You know? I don't want to walk into a place with a suit on.
Yeah.
It's just going to ruin the whole experience. Yeah, I want people to come in here, have a good drink, have a nice cocktail, or a margarita, whatever people like. Sell a lot of margaritas, so. And get something that's going to, you know, spark your head. Like, eat this and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot put into this. That's just what I want people to say.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And I think this place does that exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really does. Awesome location, beautiful restaurant, food's amazing, drinks are awesome.
Thank you.
Hit the nail on the head. There's not many places like it, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and
This was fun.
totally. Yeah, we're glad we got the chance to meet you and kind of
Likewise.
hear your story.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, bye.